Today's business owners are faced with a trick question. Should you fix your social media or your website first? One can bring in more attention, the other can bring in more sales. So let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz and I help business owners use digital media to build their business faster. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss any of my future content. Now, trying to decide whether you should focus on social media or your website is kind of like a chicken and egg cycle. You actually need both. However, you don't necessarily need an official website like yourbusinessname.com. You just need some sort of a landing page where interested people can go to get more information. But the question here is, where should you actually put your attention first, and how should you maintain your attention? Should you be putting all of your eggs in the basket of social media, or be focusing more on your website? Where would you start first, and where should you be spending most of your time? That's what we're talking about in today's video. You've probably understood over the last 5 years, social media has changed exponentially. People who were never thinking about having a content strategy are now focusing there as well. But does that mean that they need to leave their website behind? Let's jump right into it. Now, many of us, myself included, believe that social media is for attention, whereas your website is more for making decisions. Social media is kind of like networking at a party, but your website is kind of like that meeting that you have where you are closing the deal and signing on the dotted line. The thing about social media is that is the thing that can actually get a person to know about you in the first place, to understand if they are kind of in line with your brand and what it is you stand for, whether they like your vibe, whether the niche and the offer that you have is even something that they are thinking about. Social is the place to pique curiosity. But then as soon as a person's curiosity is piqued, they now need somewhere to go. And that's where your website or your landing page actually comes into play. This is why often brands nowadays are starting with social media just so that they can get people in through the door. Once people are in through the door, that's when they are trying to funnel those people off to a landing page so that that viewer can learn more and then start to make a decision. Now, how can you make this actionable for yourself? What I would recommend is that you ask a really trusted person in your life who probably has never looked at your website to look at your site and try to understand in 5 seconds what decision they should be making. What would be the next natural step for them? Do they understand what is on your site? Are they able to tell you back what it is that you offer? And do they have a clear idea of how they could actually start to work with you? If that type of stuff does not become readily apparent to a stranger in less than 10 seconds, preferably between 5 and 10 seconds, then that means that you need to spend more time focusing on your website first before you focus on social media. The reason for that is if you put all of your attention towards social media and that is actually gaining traction and bringing in new viewers, and then those people go and look at your website and can't understand what they have to do next, you have lost them, my friend. So for that reason, fix that website, get it all very nice and clear, not cryptic, but clear, and then put your attention on social so that that funnel and that channel through which you are taking person from point A to point B works really seamlessly. The next thing to consider is that if your website is not gaining any traffic, then you should focus on social media first. Remember that your website is a conversion tool. It is not a marketing tool. So if you have a beautiful website, but you don't have any people to look at it, then it's kind of like a digital ghost town. So your actionable step here is to check the analytics on your website regularly. If you have less than 100 views per month on your website, then it means you just need to get more attention to your brand in general. Now, in the old days, meaning 7 years or so ago, people used to focus mainly on SEO so that they could get ranked on Google and they would get found through their websites. But nowadays, you might have understood that many more people are finding brands through social first, as opposed to going to Google to try to find your service or your brand. So because of that, if you are just not getting enough eyeballs on your website in the first place, go back to social and start working there. Get that traffic and that awareness built there. Focus on high converting content that really gains attention. Even consider running some paid ads to your social media so that you can get more people actually knowing about your brand, finding out that you have a website or a landing page, and then start sending them off to that area. Now, the next thing to keep in mind is that if people are constantly sending you DMs or direct messages asking the same type of questions over and over, now it's time to put attention on your website. Because typically what happens is that people will bump into you on social media, look at everything there, then click on your landing page or your website, go look at everything there, and if they still have questions, that's when they're going to start reaching out, either on your website contact page or in your social media. But if you find that people are asking the same questions over and over, it's usually because that information has not become clear on your website. Most people who use social media know that if they bump into a brand on social, they shouldn't expect all the answers there on their social media page. Content marketing strategies on social media are more geared towards entertainment or education. People are not looking for every single answer under the sun about how to work with you on social media. Everyone knows that that's probably the place for your website. So if you're constantly getting DMs asking about the price of your offer or how they can work with you or what are your different offers or whether you offer this or that, it means they're not getting those answers from your website. So go back there, tweak all of that, make it very, very clear. Focus on the last 10 questions that you've gotten via your DMs and ensure that all the answers for those are available on your website. Then you can start again putting more attention back on your social. Now, one thing that I'd really love for you to consider is that social media builds trust through personality. That is the place where the brand can really show what it's about, where it comes from, its entire reason for existing. That is the place where people get sort of a vibe check and make a decision for themselves as to whether your brand or you as a business owner or your products really kind of reflect them and speak positively to them. Once they understand that is when they start looking to your website for structure. They're not really looking for personality on your website. Instead, what they're looking for there is to understand that you have clearly articulated what it is you do, that you offer some type of an infrastructure as to how you offer your services, and they're kind of looking for that home base there. If you have a very outdated looking website, then it kind of creates a mix match because your viewer might have become interested in you because of your social media. And now when they go to your website and they see something that looks like it was built in the 70s, then they really kind of feel that gap, and that's where you are going to lose their trust. It's going to be a disappointing sort of flat effect for someone that was looking forward to knowing more about you on your website. So be sure that your socials and your website both are in line in terms of branding and in terms of overall feel that you give to the viewer. You want them to understand that the website is just a continuation of your social. It's kind of like the entree after the appetizer. So that should also be as well done and as creative and as interesting as what you have on the social. But of course, you are building more structure into it so that people can get the information that they came for. Now, the right place to focus your attention is that place where people are dropping off of the system. That means that you really need to spend time to identify where is the bottleneck in your entire process. If people are looking at your social media, meaning you have profile visits and you are gaining followers and people are engaging and all of that is going well, but your website views are down, then it is time to fix your website because you've already gotten some traction and you've had some success with the social media. And the opposite is also true. If people are not really looking at your social media, but they are only looking at your website, then it means that they are probably missing a large component of your brand altogether if they're not even looking at all at your socials. So both of these areas do need to be handled and they need to have proper accurate data for you to crunch. You should never be making decisions about focusing on social or focusing on website without actually having the numbers in front of you. Wherever you think that the journey is breaking down, that's where you should be focusing the attention. Remember that everything needs to work like a funnel. One thing has to funnel people over to the next thing. In the old days, we were starting with the website and everything was kind of ending there. Nowadays, many brands are starting with the social so that they can get in the largest number of eyeballs to the brand and then funneling interested parties down to the website. This is still a really great way to go. But that means that both ends of that funnel need to be worked on. Both ends of that funnel need to be humming along at a different pace while you understand what is critical in both areas. Remember, social media gets you seen and your website gets you paid. So build that attention in the places where you're invisible and then fix your website in the areas where people are hesitating. This is how you get both to work together to hum along and create a great marketing system for yourself. So if you liked today's video, I hope that you will share it off with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe because every single Tuesday, we bring you a new video teaching you how you can use digital media to build your business faster. So until next time, take care.